good morning, good evening, wherever you are across the nation and around the globe. I am your hostess with the mostest, Kelly Robertson, aka Earth Song Lovecraft, and this is Deja Brew, waking you up to truth. Beacon News podcasts, bringing dark to light. Now, we're going to talk about earthquakes today. Earthquakes that, in particular, may very well matter because of an upcoming eclipse. I want to get this on film in case Dutch's video gets taken down again. He did one yesterday on this. I was going to do a show about it, and the video is completely gone. I can't find it anywhere. So I think they must have took it down. And I think that it was primarily because he's very good at predicting and very good at what he's doing here with watching the geophysical changes. And he's speaking on things to come for the next week and a half for certain parts of the North American continent that I think are very pertinent and important for people to be aware of ahead of April 8th. So I'm going to share a video from my good friend Dutch Sense. Turn off his chat. Open this up.
And of course, we've just been listening to some music. I was doing a test stream to see if it would even stay on. Got shut off a few times. Anyway, guys, check it out. East Coast has started to move. So, South Carolina, down here, central South Carolina. How ironic. We were talking about South Carolina last night and today in light of Thomas Bearden's video talking about South Carolina. Anyway, far northeast started to move. 2.2 striking up here. Vermont, New Hampshire region going right next to Maine. So you got Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine all right in here. And 2.2 up in the northeast. 2.1, same sized earthquake. Down to the south, going on the edge of the craton, following this perfectly, guys. We also got a 2 to 2.1 on the New Madrid seismic zone. That's all.
Now I want to explain to you what he's talking about because the video that has went missing from yesterday, he's showing how there are a swarm of UFOs, a swarm of earthquakes happening on the coast of California toward Oregon, and how he feels that it's not necessarily California that we should watch out for, but actually Texas is where he predicts will have an earthquake around a 4.5 to a 5.0, I believe, if I remember correctly. Now, these red arrows that you see on the screen, this comes down here from California's energy pushing into the Texas zone that he predicts will have a quake. And from there, the trajectory are these red arrows and how they will follow through here. So this goes through the New Madrid seismic zone in this area here, okay? Now, all of these are predicted smaller quakes, nothing any larger than a 5.2 for over the next week and a half. But it is a precursor to something bigger. And I hope he's going to explain that because I haven't seen this video just yet.
In the last day. So really looking at it, a 2 to 2.1 on the New Madrid, 2 to
It's already
2.1 in
beginning.
South Carolina, 2.1, 2.2 up in the northeast. Same with over to the west. A little bit bigger as we go back over towards our big disturbance from yesterday. 5.7 here. If you didn't catch my live that I did yesterday, it got into a little bit of like a rant from me about everything that happened. Anyway, 5.7 striking off the west coast of the United States. We're looking for a new similar sized earthquake to strike down between LA and San Diego, maybe as far south as Salton Sea, Southern California. Additionally, we're looking for 5.0 level activity, maybe upper 4, low 5, and coming in between Texas and Oklahoma.
Yep.
Additionally, far to the southeast off the east coast down here, we're going to look for a potential earthquake. It kind of doesn't matter. It's going to be out in the ocean. 4.0 level activity out off the coast. And I'm looking for 4.0 level activity to come in the northeast. So to see the movement strike in the northeast, now it's no shock. We're also going to look for those mystery booms and rumbles to show up. And we may even see activity in other places that again,
Mystery booms and rumbles. So keep that in mind. When you start hearing these trumpet sounds, when you hear booms in the sky and you don't know where they're coming from, and it's not a sonic boom from an airplane, just because you're hearing it in the air doesn't mean it's not coming from the ground beneath your feet. That's a fact.
again, haven't issued forecast for, but that we would expect to see as the energy transfers from here as the standing gravity wave in the plate, electrically induced, travels over, across, and goes up this way, trying to equalize across the plate, if you will, and it drops off earthquakes along the way. So the reason we're looking for the same sized earthquakes in the Midwest that we're looking for, I mean, again, if we're looking for a 5 in the Midwest, then we're looking for like a 4.5 down here off the East Coast and a 4.5 up in the Northeast. That's not that much loss of energy to go from a 5.7 to a 5 to a 4.5, for instance, across the plate. But it's not that this 5.7 is directly causing the earthquake that's going to come here or to the Northeast. It's that this quake, the big one, the 5 that's going to hit in the Midwest, and the 4 that's going to hit in the Northeast, all 3 are caused by this wave that's going around the edge of the plate, which you can see now the wave is already going around the edge of the plate, and it's dropping off equidistantly spaced earthquakes all the way.
Okay. Now let me talk to you about these waves for a minute, because as a grid worker, what we do is we focus our intention on these targeted areas, these targeted energetic areas that are rumbling with activity, and we see them dispersing and diffusing into different branches, not one path, not one total path, but multiple paths to diffuse it, to let the energy release in several fissures or cracks or avenues, right? Rather than this continuous focus point of energy that it's on its own, this trajectory. We can change this. Thought is powerful. If you don't know how and you want to learn, please go to the website and sign up for some classes so I can teach you and get you up to speed on this so that we can change this and we can prevent larger earthquakes from happening anywhere.
Way along the way. We're looking at, let's get 0.0 and greater on there. There we go. So 0.0 and greater shows it. We got the big disturbance off the west coast. The wave is arriving, and it's already going across the plate as we speak. And we're expecting for this to go up by 2 magnitudes on the east coast and by 3 magnitudes, 1,000-fold increase in power in the Midwest and 1,000-fold increase in power on the east coast from where we are now. So that's going on. Also, over in the East Pacific, check this out. Last 48 hours worth of earthquakes. Now, longtime viewers will know what I'm showing here, but let me back it out. So going all the way out here, 5.2, over to the east. Let me get a display capture turned on so you can see what I see ever so slightly better. How about that? Okay. So, this big line of earthquakes. We're going to go start up to the north and just count them out, but 4.7 and a 4.3 on the far north side, 4.5. Then in the middle of it, we got 5s. Obviously, the bigger rings, bigger the earthquake. So 5.1, 5.2, and another 5.1 to 5.2. The time difference on this, the 2 to 5.2s, is one's on the 27th at 5:08, which is, again, yesterday going into today. And this one is at 4:08. So they're an hour apart. 2 5.2s spreading across all of South America. So think of it like this. Like bookends on the north side, we got a 4.3 and a 4.7. And bookend all the way down to the south, look what we got. 4.4 and a 4.7. or a 4.4 and a 4.8, depending on which agency you go with. But so bookends, right? 4.7 and 4.3 on one side, 4.7 and a 4.4 on the other. What's the difference, right? They're almost the exact same. Sandwiched in the middle are two sets of fives. Look where both sets of arrows point. There we go. So this big line of earthquakes, and then all the way out here to the east. Oh, hold on one second, guys. Got a little cough coming here. Hold on. Luke, Luke, there is another skywalk. Oh my God, man. Okay, all right. Let's get back to it. Hold on.
Sometimes.
All right, so I lost my train of thought. 5.1 to 5.2 on the north side, 5.1 to 5.2 on the south side. Both arrows pointing into the greater parentheses shape here. And then let me open a USGS map here. We're going to go over and look at the plate boundary map. Now, this is the last 24 hours from the USGS. But even their map in the last 24 shows the equidistant spacing on the quakes going across the edges of the plate boundary from the Cocos Plate over into South America. Nazca and Cocos Plate, right? So on the edge of the Nazca.
Let me again just interrupt here to explain to you why this is significant and why these earthquakes are significant right now. Really, all of them are significant, but what we're looking at and what we're looking for is Earth movement caused from a domino effect. We have a binary star coming in toward our inner solar system, nearer to the sun. That in turn makes the sun react. The sun is going through its own changes. The binary star is going through its own changes and has its own small solar system with it, complete with comets and asteroids and meteors and planets and moons and satellites. All of this pattern is causing our sun to have the solar flares and, have a war with the mini sun, basically. That in turn is bombarding all of the planets in the solar system. The other ones are already heating up way ahead of us. Now we're heating up. We're experiencing changes, including magnetic pole shift changes. And just my simple compass I have at home has been varying between 20 and 40 degrees off of where north should be right now for the last week. Earth changes are happening because of this cyclical domino effect event. They're going to happen. They're already happening. It's in front of your face, whether you're watching the sun, the earthquakes, the weather changes, the drastic weather changes that are taking place, that they're not showing on local news. And we'll get to that maybe too if we have time. China was bombarded by very, very, very high wind and very large hail that they've not ever seen before. Several other places as well have experienced these very bizarre, incredibly powerful storms. We are going to experience higher wind because of the solar wind energy that's coming in and affecting that. And so all of this matters. All of it's interesting to watch. All of it is good knowledge to have in your library of wisdom so that then you can know what to do and you can know what to expect and you can know yourself enough if you do the work and learn that as well to help change this, lessen it, because we can.
The Nazca and Cocos going down into South America. And that spread, the biggest is in the middle. The middle of what? Let's go back and look at this way. So 2 sets of big earthquakes in the middle, spreading out on both sides, equidistantly spaced. Think of this like a wave that's come in from over here in the West Pacific and traveled across and then pushed on the whole plate or gone through the whole plate and impacted over on this side of the plate. And it's spreading out now. And the biggest impact is, of course, in the middle. It's coming across, spreads around, focuses back in on the other side. The seismic wave we're talking about travels through and along plate boundaries and around them, as opposed to brute force directly through the plate.
Path of least
So in this
resistance.
case, path of least resistance, there's something here between Fiji and the Nazca and Cocos plate. There's a connection between Fiji and South America, in case you didn't know. And I can show it to you here. Going from Fiji over to the east. Every 1,400 miles, there's a set of islands. Exactly 1,400 miles. Starting at Fiji, going over to Pitcairn, going over to the east further, and we get over to Easter Island, and we dead end into Easter Island right here. Here's Easter Island. So we go 1,400, 1,400, 1,400. And I measured it. It's exactly 1,400 miles from each set of islands, proving that they're man-made a long time ago. Anyway, if we back it out and look greater, there's a crescent shape that goes down, across, and back up into Peru and South America this way, where the 2 earthquakes are, you see. And it comes out and goes down, bends, and goes back up this way, goes across, and up into Kamchatka. So let me trace it out for you again. From Kamchatka, down, across, Hawaii breaks off and goes off to the east, but the undersea mount chain carries on diagonally down to the east-southeast. Following that, we go down, across, over, and boom, back up into here. Now look at the quakes. Hold on. 5.1 and 5.2, right? Let's go back, over, up, follow it, all the way back up to the north. And what size earthquakes do we have up here? 5.1, or 5 and a 5, 2 5s, and a 5.1. Same size. Same day. So what's going on? Coming from the middle, here we have our big disturbance. 6.4, 6.5, deep earthquakes down below. We'll go and show you where that's happening. Right here where the red dot is. Down below here, something's coming up. It's spreading out this way, and it's spreading out this way. And there's a connection between up at Kamchatka, I already showed it to you twice, comes down, goes over, across, and makes a crescent shape. It's like the mid-Atlantic ridge of the Pacific, if you will. And just let me show it to you one more time. Let's get all the earthquakes out of there so you can really see this. Coming off of South America, going over, making a bend and going up and across and back up to Kamchatka like a giant arrow. Everything east of here has an equidistantly spaced fracture zone that goes across. And there's some interesting parts about that are this. If you go measure, it's crazy. Anyway, getting back into the quakes that struck. Same-sized earthquake striking across South America. It's obvious. There's a big wall of earthquakes. It's like a wave that's going across here. We have to look down in the middle of here for a new break to take place, as well as out at the perimeters, out at the letter X down at the South Sandwich Islands, and up at the letter X all the way out here between Puerto Rico and the letter X. Puerto Rico's right here at the backside of the arrow, and the letter X is in the middle of the Atlantic. So both X's are due to get hit, as well as the middle. All 3 should get hit. The biggest should be in the middle, so we have to warn the people in North Chile, South Peru, going as far east as, let's just put it at South Peru, North Chile. If it goes as far east as into, for instance, Bolivia, or it shouldn't go into Argentina, I don't think. I think we're looking right where the sets of rings overlap. Again, if this is like a giant wall of earthquakes, what would you say the rough middle point is between the 4.7 up here and the 4.8 down here? If we go around the bend of the plate, the middle just, it's pretty obvious, right? Okay, so we got a lot going on. United States, we've got the warnings going in Southern California. We also have the warnings going in the Midwest and the East Coast. All three should be hit. We have the warning now going down here in South America, which I'm issuing the warning now. Go ahead and get the watch out on that. What else is happening? Let's go over towards Europe, where we had a significant sized earthquake right at the border of Italy. And is that Austria? Let's go find out here. Italy and Austria and Slovenia. So, let's see. Italy, Slovenia, Austria, if I could say that right. Northeast of Venice. It was felt in Venice.
Okay.
Now, it wasn't damaged.
I'm going to go ahead and end that there because I'm not sure how long he actually went on with his live stream. Like I said, I haven't watched that video yet, but I wanted you to see the North American earthquake predictions and changes that are happening, and to fully understand that they're happening, why they're happening, and that we really can do something about this. Look, guys, the more solar energy that hits our planet while the magnetic field is weak means that our shields around the planet are down or are weak. Okay? We can physically focus our thought to put that physical shield back around the planet and help to protect it. We can focus these energies of these earthquakes and these storms to diffuse them and disperse them into many different faucets rather than a targeted specific channel. And if we do this together, then we truly are winning at this great awakening and learning who we are and utilizing that knowledge for the greater good of all. Now, I've said many times, you can go to my website and sign up for courses and classes and all kinds of things, right? But no one will be turned away. No one. Regardless of your financial status, no one will be turned away that wants this knowledge, that truly wants to learn this. So please reach out to me. Go to the website, email me. All of the links are in the description box below. I am your hostess with the mostest, Kelly Robertson, aka Earth Song Lovecraft, signing off for now for Beacon News, where we shine the light on the dark, and Deja Brew Podcast, where we wake you up to truth. Until we meet again, be well and be blessed in love and light. Peace.